Chosen one. This is your final warning. Stay alert. Can you feel it? That silent ache within you. The one that never truly goes away. It's not pain in the way the world understands pain. It's deeper. It's older. Like a memory your soul has carried for lifetimes. A stirring you can't quite explain. Like the winds of something ancient brushing against your spirit. You walk through life surrounded by noise, yet inside there is a different storm. Quiet, but relentless. It doesn't scream, it hums. A low, steady thrum that keeps asking one question: why am I really here? And if you're honest, you've always known you were different. Not in a way that made sense to others, but in a way that made your nights lonelier, your silence louder, your questions heavier. You feel things others don't. You see what's hidden beneath the surface. You carry burdens that no one gave you, because your soul chose them long before you arrived here. There is a reason you've always felt like you're on the edge of something. Something greater, something sacred, something just out of reach. That is not your imagination. That is your divine memory trying to break through the fog. Because you, dear soul, you are the chosen one. This isn't some title given by ego. This is a calling etched into your spirit by the divine itself. And right now, whether you realize it or not, your awakening has already begun. The restlessness inside you is not weakness. It is preparation. The emotional heaviness, the confusion, the inner chaos, it's all part of the sacred cracking open. You are not falling apart. You are shedding layers that were never truly yours. You've played small for too long. You've dimmed your light so others could feel comfortable. You've buried your voice beneath fear and people-pleasing. But your soul was never meant to be hidden. You were never meant to blend in. You were designed to awaken. You are here to remember what the world tried to make you forget. That your existence is no accident. That your pain was never in vain. That every storm you've endured has been a signal, not a setback. And maybe, just maybe, the reason life has felt so heavy is because you've been carrying someone else's version of who you're supposed to be. But not anymore. Because this is your final warning from the universe. It's time to wake up. Not in fear, not in panic, but in sacred remembrance. The storm within you is the divine shaking you awake. It's not here to break you, it's here to reveal you. Because underneath every doubt, every tear, every sleepless night, lies a powerful divine being who was never meant to be ordinary. You are not lost, you are being summoned to step forward, summoned to feel again, to listen again, to rise again. Because the time for hiding is over, the time for numbing is done. The world is changing and so are you. This is not just a moment, it's a portal, a sacred invitation to return to your truth, your power, your soul's original design. Take a breath, feel that. That's your soul remembering. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You're awakening. And though it may feel like chaos now, this storm is sacred. It is the beginning of your return. A return to your calling, your power, your divine destiny. Let this be the moment you stop running from the pull within you. Because this time, it's not just a feeling, it's your soul screaming to be reborn. There are moments, silent, lonely moments, when you wonder if you'll ever make it out. When the world around you moves too fast and you feel like you're sinking slowly in a place no one else sees. You smile when you're supposed to. You play the role, wear the mask. But deep inside something aches, something's missing. And no matter how much you distract yourself, it returns. That emptiness, that quiet echo whispering, "Is this all there is?" You try to silence it with logic, with busyness, with the noise of the world. But the truth is, the struggle isn't outside of you, it's within. A war between who you've been told to be and who you truly are. You've tried to fit in, tried to be what they wanted. You've obeyed the unspoken rules, played the parts expected of you. But the more you molded yourself to their image, the more disconnected you became from your own soul. And now you're tired, not just physically, but spiritually. Tired of pretending, tired of questioning your worth. Tired of doubting if you'll ever feel truly seen, truly understood. Because deep down, you know, you were not made to live half alive. But when life keeps breaking you, it's hard to believe in anything sacred. When your heart has been betrayed, your efforts ignored, your love unreturned, it's hard to see yourself as chosen. So you start to question everything. Am I strong enough? Am I worthy? Did I imagine that I was made for something greater? Was the calling just a dream? And in those dark nights of the soul, the doubt grows. You start to believe the lie that maybe you are just ordinary. Maybe your pain is meaningless. Maybe your voice doesn't matter. But listen carefully. That voice of despair, that's not your truth. That is the voice of the wound. The wound that formed when you were told your emotions were too much, when your vision was mocked, when your spirit was misunderstood, when the world told you to stay small and quiet, and you believed them. But just because you've wandered in the shadow doesn't mean you've lost the light, because even now, even as you question everything, your soul is still whispering. It hasn't given up on you. Even in your doubt, there's something sacred unfolding, a deep, invisible healing, a divine unraveling of who you are not, so you can remember who you are, and who you are is not broken, not forgotten, not abandoned. You are in the middle of your becoming. You see, the most powerful souls walk through deep valleys before they rise to sacred mountains. The most awakened ones once doubted their very existence. Your doubt is not your end. It's your crossroads. You are standing on sacred ground, though it doesn't look like it right now. Because struggle isn't failure. Struggle is soul initiation. You are being prepared in the darkness for a light you're about to carry. You're not lost. You're being reformed, not punished, prepared. And one day you will look back at This season not with resentment, but reverence. Because it was here in this place of silent struggle that your true self began to rise. So take heart, even in your uncertainty, because doubt is the evidence that you're questioning the false in search of the real, and that is holy work. You're not meant to have all the answers right now. You're meant to feel, to sit in the mess, to touch your questions, to breathe into the silence until truth reveals itself. Let this be your reminder. The shadow may be deep, but it cannot put out the light within you. You may feel weak now, but your spirit is growing wings. And this season of doubt, it's not your ending. It's your divine preparation. There comes a moment, quiet, still, almost unnoticeable, when something shifts, not with fanfare, not with lightning or noise, but with a whisper, a gentle stirring in the soul, as if the part of you that has always known and begins to softly breathe again. It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand, it simply reminds you that you were never meant to be numb, that you were never meant to settle for half-hearted living, for shallow connections, for a life that dims your light to keep others comfortable. This is the beginning of your awakening, not a dramatic escape, but a sacred returning to your truth, to your essence, to the divine voice within you that's been patient all along. And this voice doesn't speak the language of fear. It doesn't use the words of shame, guilt, or scarcity. It speaks in knowing, in presence, in deep, soul-rooted truth. You begin to notice things you didn't before. The way your heart tightens around people who no longer align. The way your spirit rises when you speak your truth, even if your voice trembles. The way your body tells you, in tension, in peace, in sensation, who you really are and who you are no longer willing to be. This is not you falling apart. This is you falling inward. And as you fall inward, you begin to remember. You were never just flesh and routine. You are spirit. You are energy. You are divine intelligence wrapped in skin, placed on this earth for something real. You are here to rise. And that feeling, that sacred ache in your chest, is not anxiety. It is your soul stretching beyond limitations you never consented to, stretching beyond beliefs passed down through fear, not truth, stretching into the fullness of your being, into the space where your higher self has been waiting, and with every breath, you reclaim something. Maybe it's your courage, maybe your voice, maybe just the simple belief that you matter, deeply, wildly, irrevocably. But whatever it is yours. You don't have to chase healing anymore. You are healing. You don't need to be fixed. You were never broken, just buried beneath years of forgetting. And now you're remembering that your sensitivity is not a flaw, but a superpower, that your emotions are not too much, they are your compass, that your dreams are not childish, they are messages from your higher path. This is the whisper of truth. You were always meant to awaken, even in the silence, even in the pain, even in the places no one clapped for. Because awakening is not for the faint of heart. It will strip you of false identities. It will test your attachments. It will ask you to walk away from what you thought was love, but was really survival. But it will also bring you back to life, and you'll start to feel it. The moments of soul alignment. When your heart says yes before your mind catches up. When synchronicities become too loud to ignore. When peace becomes your measure of truth. This is not coincidence. This is your soul recalibrating, tuning itself to the frequency of truth. So don't rush this process. Don't force it to make sense to others. Your awakening is sacred. It doesn't need to be understood. It only needs to be honored. Because from this space, your purpose will rise, your power will return, and your soul will begin to lead, gently, fiercely, authentically. You are not who you used to be. And that's not something to fear. It's something to celebrate. This is the new beginning, the point of no return. The moment your false self bows to your eternal self, and in that sacred silence you'll hear it, the whisper you almost forgot. You were never lost, you were only sleeping. And now, beloved, you are finally waking up. Transformation is not gentle. It does not ask for permission. It comes like fire, sudden, raw, merciless, burning away everything that no longer belongs to your becoming. And when it arrives, it feels like you're losing everything, your comfort, your identity, the people you once trusted, the beliefs you clung to like life rafts in a storm. But what you're really losing is illusion. You see, the soul doesn't evolve through ease alone. It evolves through rupture, through shedding, through the unbearable ache of becoming someone new while grieving who you once were. No one tells you how much it hurts to outgrow what you once prayed for. No one prepares you for the silence after letting go. The vast, echoing quiet that follows the death of your former self. But this is the sacred fire. This is the divine undoing that precedes your true becoming. And yes, it's messy. It rips open wounds you thought had healed. It forces you to face every shadow you tried to bury. It isolates you, breaks you open, until you're on your knees, crying out to a universe that seems so far, asking why it has to hurt this much. But beloved, hear this. The fire isn't here to destroy you. It's here to purify you, to burn away the lies you've lived in, to release the roles you were never meant to play, to melt the walls you built around your heart just to survive. You are not being punished. You are being reforged. This is soul alchemy, the raw, unfiltered kind, where everything false is reduced to ash, and only truth survives. And though it hurts, God, it hurts, something miraculous begins to happen in the fire. You stop pretending. You stop performing. You stop needing to be understood by those who never saw your soul in the first place. You begin to hear your own voice again, not the conditioned one, but the ancient one, the voice that speaks in knowing, in firelight, in truth. You start to see yourself differently, not as a victim, not as broken, but as sacred, as sovereign, as reborn. Because every time you choose to stay awake through the pain, you rise. Every time you surrender what no longer serves, you elevate. Every time you let something die, you make room for something divine to live. This is the mystery of transformation. You lose parts of yourself, only to uncover the parts you never knew were there. The strength, the wisdom, the vision, the power. It's all been buried beneath the noise, the trauma, the conditioning. But the fire, it clears the path, not softly, but with purpose. Because the truth is, you're not here for comfort. You're here for truth, for freedom, for divine embodiment. And the fire is not your enemy. It is your ally. The sacred teacher you never wanted, but always needed. Let yourself grieve. Let yourself break. Let yourself feel the pain without shame. This is the holy work. This is the underworld of awakening, the dark womb where your soul begins to take shape again, truer, freer, realer. And when you rise, because you will rise, you won't be the same. You'll walk different, speak different, love different. Not from fear, but from truth. The fire doesn't leave you empty, it leaves you honest. It strips you to your essence so that what's left is pure, unshakable, divine. You will look back on this season one day and know it was the fire that made you, not the applause, not the easy days, but the sacred breaking, the spiritual excavation, the unbearable letting go. And in that knowing, you will bless the pain. You'll bless the loneliness, the silence, the nights you thought you wouldn't survive, because now you'll see what they really were, initiations, and you'll understand. You were not being broken. You were being reborn. There comes a moment after the fire, after the ashes settle, after the silence stretches long enough to make you wonder if anything of you survived the storm. But you did. And not just survive. You shifted. You begin to feel it. A flicker at first, a subtle pulse, the sacred return. Not of what you once were, but of what you were always meant to be. Your power is coming back. Not the loud, performative kind the world glorifies, but the rooted kind, the unshakable kind. The kind that rises from knowing, not proving, from truth, not ego. Because in losing everything, you finally found you. You remember now that you were never made to shrink. You were never meant to dim your light to make others comfortable. You were never meant to carry guilt for the space your soul was born to occupy. This is the rising, and it doesn't come with applause. It comes with alignment. You begin to speak differently, not to be heard, but to be true. You set boundaries, not to hurt, but to honor. You move with intention, no longer chasing what drains you, but magnetizing what feeds your spirit. Because something clicked inside you. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You remembered. You already are. You are the chosen one. Not because you're better, but because you were called. And finally, you answered. And with that answer, a sacred force begins to move through you. Grace, authority, clarity. You become a vessel for divine will, no longer reacting to life but co-creating it. You walk differently through the world now. People can feel it, even if they can't explain it. The softness in your gaze, paired with the thunder in your step. The peace that follows you, even in chaos. The way your presence speaks louder than your words ever could. This is what happens when the soul reclaims its throne. No more begging to be understood. No more shrinking to be liked. No more hiding your gifts out of fear they'll be misunderstood. Your existence is not up for negotiation. Your voice is not optional. Your path is not random. It is written in stars, etched in your spirit, protected by the very universe that breathed life into your lungs. And now you walk in that knowing. You become unapologetic about your calling, unbothered by rejection, unmoved by noise, because once you've sat in the fire and survived your own undoing, there's nothing left to fear. You are sovereign now, and this sovereignty is not arrogance, it's remembrance. The remembrance of who you were before the world tried to tell you otherwise. You start dreaming again, but this time with clarity. You start creating again, but this time from overflow. You start loving again, but this time without losing yourself. Because now you know what it took to find you, and you refuse to abandon yourself ever again. This is what rising looks like. It's not perfect, it's not linear, but it's real. It's choosing peace even when chaos calls. It's choosing truth even when fear whispers. It's choosing you over and over again until choosing you becomes your way of life. And what once broke you now builds you. What once silenced you now fuels you. What once made you question your worth now makes you honor your soul. This is power, not dominance, not control, but divine alignment with your higher self. And once you've tasted this power, you'll never again settle for less than what your soul is truly here to do. So rise, chosen one, not just for you, but for everything you came here to awaken. Your voice, your presence, your life, it matters. And from these ashes, you are not just healing, you are rising. With every breath, every step, every truth you speak, you step more fully into the force you were always meant to be. There is a reason your journey has been so heavy. A reason your pain has been so precise. A reason you've never been able to settle for the shallow, for the ordinary, for the small. You were never meant to live on the surface. Your soul was designed to go deep, to see through illusion, to feel what others cannot, to carry wisdom born from lifetimes of remembering. And in that depth, you were chosen, not by luck, not by accident, but by divine design. You see, the chosen ones don't come from comfort. They rise from contrast, from chaos, from the very cracks where light seems to disappear, because they are the ones who become the light. You've always known there was something different about you. Maybe it showed up as deep sensitivity when you were young. Maybe it was the feeling of being out of place even in a crowded room. Maybe it was your ability to sense truth before it was spoken, or your silent knowing when others were still asleep to their purpose. These were not burdens, they were signs. Glimpses of your soul's blueprint, echoes of the reason you were sent here. You are here to remember, to awaken, to guide, to heal, to break patterns, to restore what this world forgot. That is why your path has been heavy, because you are breaking cycles that have lasted generations. You are alchemizing pain into purpose. You are rewriting soul contracts by choosing to walk in truth instead of fear. You were chosen not because you were perfect, but because you were willing to walk alone when others followed the crowd. Willing to feel deeply when numbness would have been easier. Willing to stand up, speak up, and show up, even when your voice trembled. That willingness is sacred. It is the mark of a soul who came here on assignment, not to fit in, but to awaken, not to compete, but to transform, not to take, but to give light. And this purpose you carry, it's not something you need to force. It's not found in doing more. It's uncovered in becoming more you. Every time you choose authenticity over approval, you're living your purpose. Every time you choose compassion over judgment, you're living your purpose. Every time you choose love over fear, presence over performance, truth over image, you are fulfilling what you were sent here to do. You are not here to save the world, but you are here to spark the ones who will. Your healing is your purpose. Your alignment is your contribution. Your light is your message, even in silence. When you honor your truth, others are reminded of theirs. When you rise, others remember that they too can rise. This is how the chosen activate the collective, not through grand declarations, but through soul-led embodiment. You become the medicine, the mirror, the message, and the beautiful thing is you don't have to know it all to begin. You just have to keep listening, keep aligning, keep walking the path that feels lit from within. Because your soul remembers the way. Every challenge you faced, it's been shaping you. Every loss, it's been clearing space for something sacred. Every delay, it's been divine timing in disguise. And now, the fog is lifting. You begin to see glimpses of the why. You feel the pieces clicking into place. You sense the divine orchestration of your journey, even the moments that once felt cruel. Nothing was wasted, not a single tear, not a single detour, not a single silent night of breaking. It all led you here, to this awakening, to this embodiment, to this sacred moment where your soul starts remembering why you were chosen. You are here to raise the frequency of this planet just by being who you truly are. So speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. Share your gifts, even if they feel unpolished. Walk your path, even if no one else understands. You weren't made to be understood. You were made to remember. And in remembering, you ignite the remembrance in others. That is your soul's purpose. That is why you were chosen. There is a power that comes not from force, but from alignment, not from noise, but from stillness, not from fear, but from faith. This power cannot be bought. It cannot be faked. It is earned through every moment you chose to rise when it would have been easier to fall. And now it becomes your armor, not armor to protect you from the world, but armor that reminds the world who you are. You walk differently now, not because you are above, but because you are anchored. Anchored in truth, rooted in spirit, clothed in something deeper than flesh or pride. You wear peace like a cloak. You wear clarity like a shield. You wear divine wisdom as your compass. This is your spiritual armor. It does not need to shout. It radiates. It does not attack. It reveals. It does not fear. It remembers. Because you know who walks with you. You no longer enter rooms looking for permission. You carry presence that shifts energy. Your silence holds more power than 1,000 empty words. Because your soul is aligned with something eternal. And when doubts come knocking, as they will, you meet them with knowing. When fear rises, you meet it with truth. When chaos swirls, you stand still, because peace lives within you now. This is what it means to walk in divine authority, to speak when guided, and to be silent when peace says more. To move only when spirit leads, not ego. To trust your path even when the world questions it. You are no longer living for validation. You are living from revelation. The revelation that your steps are sacred, that your presence is power, that your alignment is protection, and every time you show up in truth, every time you choose soul over noise, you are wrapped in invisible armor, not to fight the world, but to walk through it untouched by what once broke you. So walk, chosen one, not with fear, but with fire, not with doubt, but with destiny, not with heaviness, but with the holy light of someone who finally remembers who they are. This is the moment. Not a moment in time, but a moment in your soul, when everything you've endured begins to make sense, when the whispers become a roar, when what once broke you becomes the foundation of who you're becoming. This is your final activation, not because you're finished healing, but because you're finally ready to rise. You've walked through fire. You've tasted silence. You've carried loneliness like a shadow. And still, you never gave up. You didn't quit when the world turned cold. You didn't fold when the weight got heavy. You kept going, even when your legs trembled. And now, that sacred persistence is becoming purpose. There's something shifting inside you, a recognition, a remembrance. You were never just surviving. You were being forged into something rare, something divine, something destined. Your soul didn't come here to blend in. It came to break the mold, to challenge the illusion, to wake up the sleeping ones by first awakening yourself. This is what stepping into your destiny looks like. Not sudden fireworks, but steady flames. A quiet authority that builds. A deep knowing that doesn't need applause to be true. You no longer wait for signs. You are the sign. You no longer seek permission. You walk with divine direction, because now you understand. Your destiny isn't something you chase, it's something you embody. Every time you choose truth, you activate it. Every time you honor your gift, you deepen it. Every time you step forward despite fear, you become it. This is your time, not because someone said so, but because your spirit knows so. The world needs what's inside of you, the light you carry, the vision you've been shown, the voice you've silenced for too long. No more hiding, no more playing small to keep others comfortable, no more dimming your soul to survive in rooms that cannot hold your frequency. You are not here to be tolerated. You are here to transform, to transmit, to awaken, and that starts now, with one bold step forward. Maybe the step is starting the thing you've delayed for years. Maybe it's speaking the truth that's been burning your throat. Maybe it's simply choosing yourself fully without guilt. Whatever that step is, take it. This is the moment you step out of waiting and into becoming. Not because you feel completely ready, but because your soul already is. This is your final activation, the turning point, the divine unveiling. You've been prepared through pain, carved by silence, refined by every rejection and delay. Now, you rise, not for applause, not for validation, but because it is time. Time to live in truth. Time to move in alignment. Time to create from the deepest part of your soul. Time to fulfill what only you were sent here to do. This is the call. You are the answer. Chosen one. Step into your destiny. It was never about becoming someone new. It was always about remembering who you've always been. Beneath the layers of fear, the wounds of the past, the masks you wore to survive, there was always a light. Flickering, waiting, unwavering, and now it burns steady. Not because life got easier, but because you got clearer. You see now, you were never lost. You were being led. Every detour had direction. Every silence carried sacred instruction. Every heartbreak was a divine redirection toward your true self. You didn't fall behind. You fell into alignment. You didn't miss your moment. You became the moment. Because the chosen one is not just a title. It's a soul agreement. A contract you signed in spirit long before this life began. And though you forgot for a while, though the world tried to bury your truth under its noise and expectations, you could never truly escape it. Because your purpose was woven into your very being. It pulsed in every ache. It whispered in every restless night. It lived in your refusal to give up when no one was watching. You are the one, not because you are better than anyone, but because you were willing to go where others would not, to face the dark without losing your light, to walk through fire and come out refined, not ruined. You carry codes in your soul, healing in your presence, power in your quiet. The very path you thought would break you was the one that made you unshakable. Now you walk differently, not with arrogance, but with sacred remembrance, not with pride, but with divine presence. You no longer question if you're enough. You know you were chosen, not for perfection, but for your willing heart. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand apart, to light the way, to wake the sleeping. And now that you've remembered, it's time to lead. Not with control, but with compassion. Not by force, but by example. Not by demanding power, but by embodying it. Because those around you are watching. They are waiting for someone to show them what's possible. To prove that healing is real, that transformation is true, that destiny isn't a fantasy, it's a choice. And you are the proof. So let your life preach what words cannot. Let your light reach where hands cannot. Let your walk be a living prayer, because you are not who you were. You are who you were always meant to become. You are healed. You are whole. You are home. In yourself, in your spirit, in your divine calling. Chosen one, you were never forgotten. You were never forsaken. You were always the one. Now go, and let the world remember what divinity looks like in human form.